Hello everyone, it's the first week in September and so of course it's time for a new prompt in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium. And before I forget, for anybody that is interested in following along with this month's challenge, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below. Now this month we are going to be focusing on mixed media techniques and we're hoping we can have a lot of fun with this. Now the prompt for this week is Dendritic Monoprinting. Dendritic meaning tree-like, and this will all make sense once we start going. But these are a few of the supplies that you are going to need. You only need one of these, but this is just a selection of the types of things that you can use to get your dendritic prints going. I've got some stamping platforms here, stamping blocks. This one here is textured on one side. This is gridded, but it has a smooth side on the back. You need something smooth, so I could easily use this. I've also got a smaller one here, so you know that is an ideal pairing, and I know that some of you will have similar things to this. I've also got some plexiglass panels as well. I've got two here. I use these for stamping platforms as well. These are ideal. You need two of whatever it is you're going to use. As I've said, this will all make sense in a second. This is just a square of quite thick plastic that I've cut out of packaging. For some reason, this is folded in half. I clearly had a plan in mind for this and never used it. I've also got some quite thick plastic wallets here that I use when I'm sending out ATCs. These would be perfect. I've also got some rectangles of magnetic paper here as well. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't work. We can try this out and see if it works later. And this is just another sheet of plexiglass as well that is much thicker than the two that I've got here, but you could easily cut a sheet like this in half and use this for your dendritic monoprinting as well. A couple more ideas, and excuse the state of this. I use this for my nature eco dyeing. These are just plastic chopping boards, and two of these would be absolutely ideal as well. And the thing I used when I first tried this technique were two panels from picture frames. So these are glass, which I think works best, but is possibly a little bit dangerous. You can see that I've covered mine in duct tape as well, just to stop me getting cut by the sharp corners and just to make it safer. But if you've got a couple of small picture frames with a bit of duct tape, you could use these as well. So just some ideas as to the types of supplies that you can use to get going. And the other thing you're going to need is a selection of acrylic paints. I've got some of the Dina Wakley media acrylics here because I've got lots of different colours of those. I've also pulled out some of the Deco Art fluid acrylics. I've got one golden one here as well, so but any type of acrylic paint will work for this. And a selection of paper or cardstock. I've got some 300 GSM cardstock here that I've cut into various sizes. I've chosen smaller pieces just because it's easier to fit under the camera, and I've cut out several artist trading card sizes as well, so just have a play and see what happens. Start off by trying out the plexiglass panels because I think these are the safest option. So I'm going to use my mixed media fluid acrylics. Which colours shall I use? Let's try the green and the blue. So this is green gold and this one here is cobalt turquoise hue. As I've said, you don't need to use the same brand paints as me. Any acrylic paint will work for this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of paint out on the glass. And I'm just going to blend that out with a paintbrush. And from past experience, I think that the thinner the layer of paint you use, the more dendritic patterning, the finer the dendritic pattern is. But we'll see, we'll just have a play. So there we go. And then I'm just going to pop the other one on top. I'm just going to pop it off so that it's not exactly laying on top, just so that I've got an edge to pull it up with, because that's the hardest thing, trying to prise these apart. So I'm just going to put some pressure on here, and already you can see that that dendritic pattern is starting to take effect. So I'm just going to really press this down and then peel it up, and let's see what we end up with. And just look at that, it's just like magic. I just think this is so gorgeous. What shall I use? Let's use one of these larger sheets, and of course you've got two as well, because you've got a print that you can pull off each side. So lay your paper on top, press really gently, because otherwise all you're going to do is just smush the paint down and you'll get nothing. So just, you know, a very, very light touch. I think it was Shannon Green that first introduced us to this, and she got the idea from somebody called Atomic Shrimp, but lots of people have tried this. I know that Cat Hand has had a lot of success with this technique and had various videos about 3 or 4 years ago, so I'll see what I can pull out, and I'll leave links to those that I can find in the description box below as well, so that you can get some more ideas. So let's have a look and see what this one renders. You see, those are just so gorgeous. They're really, really pretty. And that to me just reminds me of sort of like a willow tree. I just love these, or some kind of oriental, whoops daisy, I've lost it, oriental tree. Next, let's see what happens with these magnetic panels. So these are just the stuff that you use for fridge magnets, and you can pick up sheets of these from places like the pound shop. So I'm just going to try some of this quinacridone violet. So let's put a bit of that on, and again some of the cobalt turquoise. Let's see what happens here. I've just rinsed my paintbrush off in a jar of water, but let's just spread out some of this paint. I'm not really bothered about where I'm putting this, just trying to get some coverage. I really like how that looks actually. And let's sandwich it together again. I'm just going to go slightly asymmetric, just so that I've got a corner just to pull it up with. So let's see how this works. I've not tried any of these before, so you know, they may or may not work, but I have high hopes. Oh, you see, that's worked as well. So again, let's try. So we'll put one on there and another one on here as well. Smooth that down really gently and see what we can pull from this one here. This is just such fun. You can make the most fantastic backgrounds from these. Just look how pretty that is. That's worked an absolute treat. So, you know, at this stage, I'm just testing to see which materials will work and which ones perhaps won't. So these are the patterns that I've got from this one here. I love those. And these are the greens. So the dendrites are much bigger on this one here. So, you know, that was the one that I used, the plexiglass. And this, of course, was the magnetic paper. But they both worked. Now I have tried pulling some prints with all of the other items I showed you at the beginning of the video, so let me just talk you through them. These ones here were done using the acrylic blocks, and I had some success with this, but it did miss patches as well. Some of the paint just didn't take to the acrylic block, but you know, pretty nonetheless. So that was done with the acrylic blocks. This one here, or these ones here, were done using these plastic pouches. So these are quite thick plastic here, quite heavy plastic, and I found that I had to go over these a couple of times, and then I did apply some more paint around the edge of the plastic pouch as well, just to try and fill them in. So pretty, but you know, very, very fine dendritic print. What I did find with these that I just absolutely loved, stamping the plastic pouches off to get rid of the excess paint onto my drop paper. So I can't wait to have a play with that. So that's how those worked. This one here was done using the folded over piece of plastic packaging. So this one, this is this one here. I haven't bothered to clean it. I really like this. It's very faint. The dendritic pattern is very small, but I like it, and it did work. And this one the same as well. This was a heavier piece of cardstock that I just sandwiched in between the two like this, and that's what I got from that one there. So of course I've got the two sides, so you know, you can see how differently these work. This one here was done using my breadboards, acrylic breadboards. You can see that I've still got the paint on. Mine are banana shaped. They've completely warped because I've used these in the saucepan with my eco dyed prints. And you know, I did get a lovely dendritic pattern, but I got this void in the center just because of the way that that these plates have warped. But I think this would have worked really, really well. I just want to try one more using some metallic paints. So these are the pearl paints from Arteza. I've got pearl pink, pearl glacier blue, and pearl electric blue. And I'm just going to put some blobs down like this. Let's see what we end up with. I'm applying quite a thick layer here like this. I'm going to overlap some of these as well. I do want quite a thick layer. Let's apply some more here like this, and a bit more of that electric blue too. And let's see what we end up with. And so now what I want to do is squish this together. In fact, what I might do to start off with is just smush this together with my fingers. This is quite a thick layer, so I'm not trying to thin it out in any way. I'm just going to wipe the excess off, and then pop my glass down, squish that together, try and get that dendritic thing going on. Let's see what's happening, and try and prise it apart and see what we end up with. Oh gosh, wow, you see, that's gorgeous. We've got more pattern on this side here, and this time I want to use some black cardstock, so I'm just going to pop that on top and just smooth that down really gently. Let's pop one on this side as well. Can see that I haven't cut this piece of paper particularly well. That's okay, that's fine. And let's lift this off and see. Oh my gosh, that's just gorgeous. And I think what I'm going to do is just tap the ends down just to see if we can get some more coverage in those blank spots as well. That's just so pretty. Let's try it again. Here and here. Oh, I just love that. That's just gorgeous. That's really, really pretty. Let's try and do the other side as well. I love that. Now let's see what this one looks like. Again, that's really pretty. It's really textured as well. Let's try and pull up all of this extra paint. Let's try and get some of the texture from over here, perhaps. I love that. Let's try and get some here. So pretty. I think I'm going to leave that one be as well. I have had an absolute blast with this Dendritic Monoprinting today, and you can see that I've achieved different levels of results depending on what I used. By far the most textured are these ones here, but the paint I used was much more heavy bodied. I used a much thicker layer as well. I think the glass is the most successful. I got much bigger dendrites. This is really raised and textured. I just think those are absolutely gorgeous, and I just love how you get a completely different print from each of the sides that you pull the print from as well. I was also able to pull off some second degree paints as well, prints from those as well, which are nowhere near as textured, but you know, just really, really lovely as well, and really detailed. So I love those. So do not waste your paint. I was also trying adding some blobs on black cardstock using the glass plate as well, and this is what I managed to achieve with those, using just different colours, but these were the Arteza metallic paints as well. These were the second generation prints that I pulled from those, just absolutely lovely. But you can see that, you know, I just achieved so many different results depending on what I used, and none of them were a fail. So of course, I think these were the plexiglass, these were the black magnetic paper that I used. I think these were the stamping platforms, and this was the just the plastic packaging that I used. So I hope it's given you enough ideas that you feel that you can pull this off yourself, and I just hope that you have as much fun as I have. Now, I must admit, I was hoping to have come up with a finished project using these today, and I've completely run out of time, but do go and check out Kylie's video, because it may well be that she's come up with a finished project, I don't know, but do go and check and see, you know, her interpretation of the prompt, and I will be back the middle of next week, I hope, once I've put my thinking cap on and I've decided how I'm going to use these. But I just hope that you'll enjoy following along with our mixed media prompt this month. If you enjoyed my video today, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, as you know, it really does let YouTube know that you like what I'm doing. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.